Line of Duty.
Right.
Yes.
Line of Duty, you could almost say, is a bit like a British version of The Wire. I think it's growing into it. As I said, with a lot of these shows, they've sort of diminished in quality as they've gone on. This has grown in quality with every season. Yeah, there's not a lot to say. What I will say is that I think a lot of what works in Line of Duty is the fact that they've got the time, they've got the bravery to do these long, drawn-out interrogation scenes.
Sitting down, people
Yeah.
talking, and just being hooked
and
in on
and the
that.
factual basis of those, they do it very much. They've got the police
Something that
assistants.
never really hit me before that I remembered whilst watching this last series is they don't sit there and say, right, we've got this bit of evidence. They do it in real, right? Evidence
Yeah, yeah,
240
yeah.
zip.
I am
That's
now.
what you're saying. Is it
I am
they're not
now
scared
showing.
of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. And you have those shocking elements, like the Jessica Raine character being pushed out the window, which was. I mean, the first series I liked, but I think it was going to that series 2 screening, sitting there, seeing that scene, being surrounded by the cast, and just getting. I love this series. I think Keeley Hawes helped really to bring this into its own. The second series I think was a lot more talked about than the first, and the third one was even more so. I think this last series we've just had was absolutely fantastic.
Matt's Desert Island Dramas.
Don't flatter yourself, Steve. I might have been a complete emotional wreck, but I didn't want you. We were just two lonely people having a fumble. It might have sounded convincing on tape, but it was empty and it was pathetic.
Back to planting of evidence. The accusation's been around so long that people are starting to think they don't have to prove it. Instead, it's down to me to disprove it. You know the truth. You know I didn't do it.
I've just spent 1.5 years of my life in prison. I've lost everything. My home, my job, my whole future. Maybe now you've got a taste of what it's like to know that you're innocent and yet still have your whole life destroyed. So let me be clear. That money was put in my house to frame me. I am innocent. I am the victim in all of this.
You're unbelievable.
No, I want justice. And I don't care how unjustly I get it.
Everything about it worked. It was well paced, well acted. I think the entire ensemble cast, there's Vicky McClure, Adrian Dunbar, Martin Compston, Craig Parkinson, those 4 actors I think are so good, and I just think it's just such a brilliant edge of your seat drama. I was pacing around I was standing up at the end of that last
Wow.
episode and just pacing around the living room, just like
Have you recommended it to anyone?
Yeah, I've tried. Yeah, I have recommended it to several people at work because it's on Netflix now, isn't it?
Do you miss, though, because a lot of these you've watched with other people, do you miss
I
not
feel like
having
I'm sort of
immediate...
watching it with you guys now because we talk about it. So,
As you say, it's that chat afterwards. Again, it goes back to my one about my conversations with my uncle. It goes back to that fact that television is a social thing as well. And it makes you want to talk about it, talk about what
I
you
think
like.
now we've got Twitter as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's in on it together rather than sitting down with more. Yeah, I get that, but it is nice, isn't it, to after it finishes to go, wow, wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So, but I suppose, the 3 of us do that now